So y'all, we back. Episode 4. Welcome to Keep It Thorough Thursdays. We're a month in. So
1 month in, bro. It's a new year, 2022. The double up.
Hopefully been dropping some juice for y'all, some good information. But yeah, it's your boy E Double.
Fix my seat. There we go. What's up, good people? It's Cedric Lavelle. Yeah.
And yeah, it's Keep It Thorough Thursdays, man. Episode 4. This week we're gonna be discussing setting expectations. And this is a real good topic, man. This is something that we both kind of passionate about. And I think it's really important in many different aspects of your life, right? So as we normally do with our, format and whatnot, we kind of walk you through, different stages of kind of defining what it is we're talking about, and then giving examples of how it can kind of benefit you, and then give you kind of actions that you can, ways to apply, said, things we kind of describe. So to start off, so expectations, what are we talking about when we talk about setting expectations, right? So I'm gonna let you go first, Ed, and then I'm gonna
man. So with setting expectations, one thing that I also look at with expectations is standards. Having a standard for yourself, having a standard for those that are around you, standing on principles, as the saying goes, rather, if you stand for something or fall for anything. So really being rooted in that. Real quick before we go into the content though too, just want to make sure we remind everybody that after the segment, after the live, check our bio out for our setting expectations kit, to get some of the highlights and some additional resources that we put up there for you all that can really be beneficial. But anyway, back to the content. So yeah, setting expectations. Now, one thing that Eric and I did when it came to setting expectations, we wanted to highlight certain areas where expectations have to be set, just to kind of give you a very, I guess you could say, condensed form of how you can approach this. So 6 areas that we say that we feel that are beneficial.
Well, hold on, Sid.
Ahead,
let's
before we even consider. Man, I skipped that whole part.
So
back to that. So examples. Yeah. So I would say from my personal experience when it comes to setting expectations, one thing that I really wished I had more of growing up was moments of being challenged. I feel like as I came up and really as I got older, I've learned to embrace challenges. I'm not one to shy away from obstacles, adversity, because I feel like that really builds endurance, that builds character, and that allows me to see something far beyond where I'm currently at. So really understanding that challenges are a part of setting proper expectations. Understanding that as you grow and as you move forward, there's going to be a lot of things that may come along your path that's going to challenge you. And when you have those expectations set to a high standard, you relentlessly go after those things. So for me coming up, I feel like I was really lacking those moments of being challenged, those moments of really having to think critically, those moments where I really had to, have a conversation with myself about how I can be better, how I can grow, how I can really define who I am as a person. So I would say just that aspect of really being challenged in certain areas, and not having those moments where I really had to set the bar, raise the bar a lot higher. And like I said, man, it didn't really happen until I got older and I started to understand, like, okay, like these expectations for myself have to be higher. Like if I continue to doing the same thing that everybody else is doing, if I continue moving like everybody else is moving or thinking like everybody else, I'm not going to make any progress. So really understanding that aspect, man, is what really changed my trajectory but has significantly been beneficial, you know what I'm saying, as I approach expectations and just expectations from not just myself, but from my kids, from my wife, you know, my family, business partners, friends, all those types of things. So that's my experience with that for sure.
All right, so cool. So my personal experience is this, right? So I'm very big into, you know, kind of helping like the Black community, you know what I'm saying? And,
For sure.
and me being a Black man, I can only kind of speak from that experience. But something that was kind of brought to my attention, I say probably in the last like 5 years or so, regarding expectations, is the expectations that are set on us, specifically relating to like family, right? So to use an example, like in the Black community, right? Like graduating high school is considered this wonderful achievement, right? Whereas if you compare that to other cultures or other groups, right? That's a minimum. That's a requirement. Like you damn right better graduate from high school. So when I think about expectations, right? So let's use that as an example. So in the Black family, you know, you're looked at, okay, you go to high school, graduate from high school, and then you get out of my house, right? You grown, go and handle your business, right? Which that's not a good way of thinking, right? So once you reach that goal, if you reach that goal, because everybody don't graduate from high school, right? Then it's like that one expectation that was kind of placed on you, you've met. And if there's not any other expectations or things that are expected of you, you know what I mean? And you're not a strong enough person to kind of set your own expectations or raise your own bar, then you kind of just out here. You know what I mean? You like whatever, you know what I mean? It's like whatever. You're not striving for anything else. You're not reaching for a higher purpose. There's no sense of urgency. You don't have like a legacy within your family or something that you're trying to, you know, live up to or you know what I mean? So to me personally, I don't feel like expectations for me growing up were set high. You know what I mean? I don't think like I think I was expected to go to high school, graduate high school, and you know, that was kind of it. Like college was maybe potentially, you know what I mean? That's not a discussion I even really had frequently with my family. You know what I mean? So when we talk about setting expectations, I really like to like pound that when it comes to family and your inner circle and your children and your spouse or whoever else, like raising that bar and really the kids, right? Because you got to set a high expectations for those kids because it kind of sets a benchmark. And if they have that, if you set that for them and they, you know, achieve those things and keep striving higher and higher, then they're going to pass that on to their children. You know what I mean? And they're going to set higher expectations for their children, and things are going to get better, you know, over time. So really, that's really kind of my personal experience to kick this off with setting expectations and kind of where my mindset is with it. Like, what are the expectations look like for you, right? And I challenge anybody who's watching this now or to come back and watch this video later is what were the expectations for you as a kid? You know what I mean? What do you feel like you were expected to do and achieve, and or what were you expected to become? Like, do you think the expectations were high? Do you think they were low? Like, and from personal experience, I don't think the expectations that were placed on me were very high. And I feel a lot of that came from me, my own personal goals and my own personal things that I wanted to accomplish. And I think you probably can relate to that. But now that, you know, we shared the personal experience, but now let's get into, you know what I mean, some specifics. So if you want to go ahead and hit those bullet points, and we kind of keep it moving.
Yeah, we'll circle back on those. So like I was saying, when it comes to just expectations, one thing Eric and I wanted to do is just kind of pinpoint certain areas where it can really benefit you as it relates to improving on expectations or setting higher expectations. And that's in areas of education, growth, health, relationships, finances, and career. So those 6 particular areas are areas that we feel that can really benefit you as a whole. You can really branch off from each one of those things and really define your standards, your expectations, where you want to go, who you want to be, because I believe that in every step of your life, as you grow and as you move forward, you're going to always have to change. You're going to always have to adapt. If you stay the same, you become stagnant in the standards that you have for yourself and that you want to set for others, they'll never be met because you're not living by that. You're not showing the example. So as you continue to grow and as you continue to move forward, it's imperative that those expectations begin to go higher and higher and higher, and that you continue to set new standards for yourself and for others, because that's how you ultimately become better. That's how you become beneficial. That's how you become an asset. That's how you begin to change the trajectory of your family dynamics. And I know for me, that's something that I hold near and dear to me above many things. You know, it's just really changing the generational things that
The curses, really, the generational
yeah.
curses and the, you know, lack of growth.
And it takes someone who's willing to be different, who's willing to be confident in their progress, who's willing to have standards and stand up for something and just say, you know what, the bus stops here. You know, I want to make some changes. I want to do some things differently. I want to see my kids grow up a little differently than I did. I want to see my kids grow up a little differently. So we have to make some changes and we have to make some adjustments. So anyway, not to go harp on that too much, but education, growth, health, relationships, finances, and career. So with education, that's obviously understanding, you know, your skill set, really investing in advancing your knowledge and advancing your intellect, right? For growth, that's really investing in building a foundation for yourself that promotes progress, that allows you to move forward, that allows you to be better, that allows you to continue to take those steps to become a better version of yourself. Because like I said, at every new life or every new part of life that you encounter is going to require a different version of you. And if you're not looking at your path that way, you're going to get passed up. Like, you really have to understand that as you progress, life is going to require a different version of who you are. You're going to have to change. You're going to have to make some differences. Then health. When it comes to health, it's about the condition that you're in. You can't contribute if you're not in good condition to contribute. So you have to invest in healthy habits that are going to allow you to function more optimally, right? Then when it comes to relationships, it's just about investing in creating environments that are mutually beneficial, not just for yourself, but for your kids. Not just for your kids, but for other family members, but really being the example that people want to see, that allows them to see something in themselves, right? It's an opportunity that you have when you take the step to set higher expectations and you live by that. It allows other people to see that reflected in you, and they're able to go out and do the same thing too. And like E said, when it comes to your children, when they see the example that you set, and they see the way that you move, and they see the decisions that you make, that's an example that they see and they embrace that. That becomes embedded in them. And as they get older, they're able to reciprocate, or they're able to continue to keep the legacy moving and going as it should. Then when it comes to finances, that's investing in financial literacy. That's building up something that's going to allow you to have funds for now and for the future. It's becoming savvy. It's becoming more aware, whether it's investing, whether it's budgeting, whether it's credit. It's understanding how finances, how they work, how the money moves. and if you're in America, you understand, like, it's kind of challenging to do certain things without having an understanding of how money moves, how the money plays go.
Yeah, regardless of the level of importance money is to you, you need it to survive.
That's the fact. That's essential. And then as far as career goes, it's investing in knowing and sharpening your skill set. I believe when it comes to a career and something that you invest your day in, because most people are working 8 hours or more a day, you want to be doing something that you feel connected to. You want to be doing something that allows you to grow and that cultivates your gifts, whatever your talents are, whatever you have to contribute. You want to be doing something that cultivates that because that allows you to have a more fulfilled career. I believe that's why a lot of people are so disconnected from work, because they don't feel like they're contributing to something that betters whatever their vision is, you know. And I feel like a lot of businesses lacks that from a grand scale. We don't have to go into too many details on that, but you know, you really have to understand what values rather that you have, and really take the time to try and align yourself with any business or with any career that holds you together as it relates to the values and what you want to create for your future. So those are the 6 areas, like I said, that we felt that are really useful to invest in as it relates to higher expectations, because that's basically what you're doing. You're investing. And when you invest in higher expectations, what you're looking for is a return on that investment. And with expectations, you got to understand this too. There's no certainty at the end, but what you want to do is believe that when you're moving or you're looking to reach those expectations, that you're doing the necessary steps to fulfill those things. Because the expectation is you're anticipating something to happen. But in order for it to happen, you have to take the necessary steps just to get there and to also experience it. So that's what we have as far as the introduction on expectations.
Yeah. So
and, what you got, E?
So yeah, so obviously, right, to piggyback on what you were saying, those were the 6 bullet points. So education, growth, health, relationships, finances, and career. And he kind of defined what those were. So now, like, I'm gonna really talk on what type of returns you can get from investing in those higher expectations. So just kind of generally speaking, so when it comes to education, in my opinion, education really acts as a vehicle to help you get to wherever you're going, right? Like that, education is a major pillar in all aspects of your life. The more you know, the better you are equipped to handle certain situations, to deal with difficult situations, to, you know, grow a business, whatever the case may be. But some of the returns you can get from that is setting a standard for higher expectations within yourself and your family. Increases your potential income, right? Because it's crazy. I see a lot of people always want to make X amount of money, but then, and I agree with the current situation with the workforce. I feel there can be some changes made, some minimum wage and things like that. I'm not going to get into that conversation. But I also see a lot of people who don't have a lot of skill and want to make a lot more money. And the reality is, this is simple as this. The easier you are to replace, the least amount of money you're going to make. The harder the skill is that you possess, and the harder it is to replace you, the more money you're going to make. It's as simple as that. That's why doctors, lawyers, you know, certain career fields make way more money. They're highly skilled in what it is they do, and they acquire that knowledge through education, right? So if you don't have a arsenal of useful skills, you know what I mean? Like, you're not going to make a lot of money. And so again, a possibility of return for investing in higher expectations in relation to education can yield you higher potential, income potential, right? Then it also, like I spoke on, is, you know, it helps you with your critical thinking skills. It helps you to be better equipped to solve problems. It helps you with conceptualizing and analyzing information, which is all extremely important, not just in business, but in your personal life. People who aren't very educated get frustrated quickly when they can't articulate themselves, when they can't get off whatever it is they're trying to explain. They get frustrated because they feel like they're not being heard, right? So that's one area. So now when we move over to growth, it's important not to sell yourself short. And once a goal is accomplished, don't stop creating new ones. You have to be continuously creating new goals. That's how you grow, period. You got to keep going. You got to keep challenging yourself. And possibility of a return, and, you know, in this particular area, is when you accomplish goals, it boosts your confidence. You're way more confident. And that gives you a willingness to try new things and probably even more difficult things because you know what you're capable of. You gain that confidence and you're like, okay, I was able to do X, Y, and Z, and these, I thought were kind of difficult. So I'm gonna challenge myself even harder next time, which again leads to your growth, which takes you to another level. And then when you continue to grow, it continues to motivate those around you, and it sets a benchmark, right? It's like a non-verbal cue, so to speak. Like,
right.
If people around you see you continuously growing and you continuously reaching new heights, they're going to see that. And without you even saying anything, you're kind of setting a benchmark for what you expect. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm doing all this work and trying to get to this level, then damn sure I'm gonna expect you to be working too. Like, I'm not, you know what I mean? I always say this quote wrong, but birds of a flock fly together or something, you know what I mean?
Birds of a feather
flock together. Something I always say it wrong.
Something like that. Yeah, nah.
But yeah, you know what I mean? You got to surround yourself with like-minded individuals. You know what I'm saying? And when people see what you're accomplishing, you're going to attract those type of people, and you're going to, and you're also going to be attracted to those type of individuals. So now health is extremely important, man. And I think there's a stigma, not even in just the Black community, but just man in general, of not going to the doctor. And that's something that we really need to set an extremely high expectation on.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? Like, health is important, man. Like,
man.
even in my family and my I'm gonna just leave it at that. In my family, there's been a history of males not going to the doctor and checking up on themselves and making sure they're in peak performance. And kind of what you said, better physical health allows you to have more energy and longer life expectancy, but then it also puts you in a better mood and you're able to contribute. Better health gives you more clarity, you know what I mean? More mental clarity and a stronger mental fortitude to be able to deal with difficult situations. If you're not in good health and you're tired and you're lethargic and you know what I mean, going through all of this crazy stuff, and now you come up with a difficult situation, it's going to be even more difficult because you know what I mean, you're not in a place to deal with that. You know what I mean? So health is extremely important. Life is nothing without health, right? Like nothing without health. So now moving on to relationships. Setting the correct expectations with the people around you builds your foundation, in my opinion. The people that are around you and are in your circle, your family, your immediate family, your close friends, that's your foundation. You know what I mean? So a return for investing in the higher expectation in this, holding those around you accountable will also help to ensure that they hold you accountable. Right. So your relationships, your friends, your spouse, your children, hold them accountable. Period. You have to hold these people accountable. I know sometimes people use love as a reason for not wanting to do certain things because they don't want to hurt a person or something because they love them, right? And my view of that is, if you really love someone, you're going to tell them the truth.
Yeah.
If you really love someone, you're going to really hold them accountable and let them know, somebody that I don't care about and that I don't love and that is not important to me, those are the ones that I'm not going to tell the truth. I don't even need to really speak to you. But the ones that are in my life that I care about the most and that I love, I got to hold them accountable and be honest with them and real with them. And that's how we're going to grow, not only as individuals, but as a unit. And then pertaining to relationships, building strong relationships with your children and setting clear expectations for what you expect to them, which gives them purpose and sets them up for success as they grow up. You know what I mean? Like, I think everything starts with the kids, right? If you want to make any change in this world, to me, it starts with the children. And when we talk about earlier about our personal expectation, our personal experience with dealing with expectations placed on us as kids, I think that's really where it starts. And that's where you kind of break the mold. Like, things that I accomplished, I'm gonna look at those as minimums for my children. You know what I mean? Like going to high school. Yeah, you damn right. Better go to high school. Now college. Yes, I would want my kids to go to college, but that's a whole nother conversation because years.
But like you said, even with college, it's all about having a plan and having a purpose. So
college
that goes into expectations too. My
Well, no,
expectation is have a
exactly.
plan, have a purpose. You know, if you
Exactly.
got those two things, whether it's going to a trade school, whether it's starting your own
Exactly.
business,
There you go. And that was
that's
really
the
my point.
expectation.
I want them to go to school, and I'm going to enforce that. But depending on what they're doing, it's going to be a clear expectation that you need to be doing something. That
Right.
that mediocrity is not going to
That's not
be
accepted.
acceptable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So after relationships is finances. So having clear financial goals and a means to achieve them is extremely important. I feel like a lot of people out here living paycheck to paycheck. They don't know how much money they got coming in. They don't know how much money going out. And you know, some comes out of left field. A rainy day comes, and they're in a real fucked up situation. You know what I mean? They're in a bind and can't really recover from it. So, investing in higher expectations regarding your finances is important, and reasons why is investing in how to build wealth is extremely important. You know what I mean? This is extremely important. Doing your research on investing in stocks and mutual funds, and whether you want to invest in crypto or whatever the case it may be, whether you want to have some investment properties or start a business or whatever the case it is, figuring out a way to build wealth and learning how to properly invest is important. Growing up, I was always taught to save money. If I was given any financial literacy, it was about saving money in case something happens.
And not investing.
Saving money is not how you build wealth. That is not how you build wealth. You build wealth by investing. That is how you build wealth. Obviously, save for a rainy day, but educate yourself on how to invest. That's how you build wealth. And in another way that you can get a return from investing in your financial health is by budgeting your finances and knowing your financial health. It reduces stress in your life. You know what I mean? And it helps you for growing your finances. If you know what you got coming in and what you got going out, then you can actually plan. You can make plans. Right. You can put money into your savings. You can take some money and set it aside to invest in the stock market and index funds or whatever the case may be. But you got to know what you got coming in and what's going out, or you can't do that. You know what I mean? So, and then the final bullet point was your career. So whether you own your own business or you're an entrepreneur and you work for yourself, having clear business goals are very important in continuing to grow with those. And you kind of spoke on that, said like a lot of people work for companies where it's just a job. It's not even a career, it's a job because they don't enjoy what they're doing. They're just there to collect the paycheck.
It's like a task that you have every day.
Exactly. And you look at it as a negative. And they say, there are sayings out there. And, if you're doing something you love, it doesn't feel like work. And I believe that to be true. In my career and in my job, I love what I do. And then the various businesses that I invest in and I love what I do. This right here, this platform right, this ain't work to me. I love doing this. You know what I mean? Sharing this information and having these dialogues with you, said this is something I enjoy doing. So, but having a steady source of income, and the reason, the return you'll see on this, setting a higher expectation in this category, is having a steady income is important for stability, and building your career allows for higher pay. Now, again, not everybody is money motivated. We kind of spoke on that. Not everybody is driven by money. I'm extremely money motivated, may I add, but not everybody is money motivated. So regardless of that, you need money to survive, period. You know what I mean? So you need to set yourself up and be in a career that's going to provide for your lifestyle. And you need to be aware of what that lifestyle is going to look like. What do you want that lifestyle to look like? And now you need to find a career and invest in the education and all that to find you a career to be able to uphold that lifestyle, So those are the 6 bullet points and kind of a return that you will see by investing higher expectations in those areas. And so the next little piece of this segment that we want to touch on is basically tangible things that you can implement, right? So that those were kind of general and kind of gave you an idea of by investing what you can yield, but how do I specifically do some of those things? Okay. So I'm gonna let Said knock off the first 3, and then I'm gonna knock off the last three, and then we'll kind of wrap it up.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So with these particular actions, there's just certain things that you can do to directly apply it to your day to day. Obviously, like E just said, you know, we gave an introduction of some of the things that we wanted to discuss, along with some impacts that they can make. But obviously, making things tangible is the most useful thing, right? It's being able to have the information and directly apply it. So when it comes to education, it's really about utilizing available resources to allow you to grow. So whether it be LinkedIn Learnings, whether it be things like Coursera, Udemy, whether it be study.com, Masterclass, there are a lot of resources that are available
Hell,
online.
YouTube.
YouTube University, man. My wife uses YouTube faithfully when it comes to learning something or understanding something. So utilize your resources that are available to you to educate yourself in certain areas. Read books. Like that's one of the things that motivates me. I love to read. I know the saying where it was like, if you want to hide something from a black man, put it in the book. That's one of the things that motivated me to read as much as I do, because I wanted to have all the information. You know, when you read in books, it's access that everyone has. It doesn't matter what race that you are or where you come from. You're just buying a book. Now, the thing is how you apply that information that's in that book that makes the difference. But books are accessible, you know, so finding something to educate yourself, whether it's, you know, reading 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes out of the day, that's useful. Whether it's podcasts, whether it's audibles, it's just taking those things within your day and making them a requirement. Like it doesn't matter how much time that you have in your day, you can find at least 10 to 15 minutes to do something that's going to allow you to elevate your mind and also grow and educate yourself. So definitely find time to do that, utilizing resources that are accessible and available to you. When it comes to growth, maintaining a healthy balance. A lot of times people can overwork themselves. A lot of times people can overindulge in their day-to-day task and not feel like they're getting anything accomplished. Write things down, put it in a planner, put it on a calendar, put it on a dry erase board, whatever needs to be done to maintain a sense of balance or maintain some progress on getting things done. Do that. Make things visual. I feel like in order to grow, you have to, you know, take some of the stresses off of you as it relates to day-to-day tasks. Because anytime that you're stressing over the day-to-day and the ins and the outs and what's going on, this need to be done, this need to be done, got to go here, got to go there, it gets overwhelming. You know, and when you get to that breaking point, a lot of times it's a challenge to really move forward and grow, because you're so confined to so many things that restrict you, right? So when you have an opportunity to create some balance for yourself or iron things out to a sense or to a degree, that's useful. You know, taking the time to meditate, do some yoga, do some stretching throughout the day. The way that you talk to yourself, affirming yourself, getting rid of negative language that really stifles your growth. I think that's useful too. You know, in order to grow, you have to be aware of the seeds that you sow and how you're showering those seeds, right? You know what I'm saying? You can't expect something to grow in you if you're not showering it with the right words. You know, if you're not talking to yourself in a way that's going to allow you to grow. So I say, you know,
I like that point too, said. I'm gonna just say this really quick and let you get back. I'm not ashamed to say that I've been to counseling before, which I think is a stigma, right? But counseling is good, it works. But something that's been brought up before is making sure you pour into yourself, which, to speak to your point, right? You got so many external forces and you pouring into other people so often that, like, make sure you pouring back into yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And setting time aside for yourself and things that are just for you. You know, because you're a father, I'm a father, you're a husband, I'm a husband. There's so many different things, you know, working, running businesses, all these different things, pulling you in all these different directions. You got to set some time aside for you and pour into yourself to help grow. Because what happens is, yeah, you've been doing all these things, your tree didn't grew, right? And now you stop watering it, you know what I mean? The growth stops.
Growth stops.
You know what I'm saying? But I just wanted to say that.
No, you're right, bro.
Yeah.
And that's a huge thing. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, it leaves you dry. If you're not watering yourself, and it's challenging for you to be beneficial to somebody else when you're not being beneficial to yourself. Like it doesn't work that way, you know, because the example that you're needing to set for somebody else, if they're really watching you, they can see it in you. It's like, I hear what you're saying, but you're not even applying that.
That's that phrase. Actions speak louder than words.
Actions speak louder than words. So when it comes to growth, make certain that you're taking the necessary steps to improve your own personal well-being. That way you're able to contribute in a more significant and longer way. Then when it comes to health, taking about 15 minutes out of your day to be active. You know, I can't remember the specific numbers as it relates to like your age and how much activity that you should have throughout the day, but you really want to make certain that you're having some sort of activity in your day. You know, something simple as going for a walk, going for a run. You know, if you're capable, you know, jump rope in 10 to 15 minutes, but just something that allows you to elevate your heart rate slightly, just to keep you active and keep your body moving. That's significantly useful. And then also just maintaining a healthy diet, and not really a diet, because you know a lot of people look at the word diet negatively, but really a lifestyle. You know, and I really don't say diet too much, but it's more so a lifestyle, incorporating nutrient-rich foods. You know,
just be aware of what you're putting in your body, man.
That's like, it, man. And you have to understand that, like we said, in order for you to contribute in a more significant way, you have to be aware of how you maintain your health. And then also too, it's like, how can you enjoy something that you're wanting to build and that you're wanting to groom and grow, whether it's a business or whether it's your kids, if you're not fully committed to your well-being? Like that's essential. That's critical that you do that, because it helps you on all different facets. You know what I'm saying? Mentally, physically, spiritually. When you're maintaining that, I mean, your confidence, you know, when you look at yourself, it's like, oh man, damn, I look good.
Right.
You know, but and that's affirming yourself. So really,
and that investing in your health extends your life expectancy, so you can be here for your kids.
And so then you continue to grow generational wealth. You know what I'm saying? Like it makes sense when you really look at it from a nuts and bolts standpoint. So you can't exclude health. You can't exclude maintaining your level of physical optimization. You know, you can't exclude that. So you really have to focus on those aspects when it comes to growing, and when it comes to also setting those expectations. You got it, E. Go ahead.
All right, bet. So the last three: relationships, finances, and career, right? So tangible items around those things. So in your relationships, it's important to tell people that you trust, which I can't stress enough, and that you respect. Tell them what your goals are and ask them to hold you accountable, right? So something that I'm looking to accomplish within the first quarter of 2022 is to buy me an investment rental property. That's something I've shared with Said and a few other of my really good friends, and they gonna hold me accountable to that. You know, like what's going on? E, where you at with that? Where you know what I mean? And that's gonna keep me on my toes, right? And make sure that I'm sticking to what I say. So that's something you can do, and do that with people that you trust and that you respect. Don't tell everybody your goals. Don't do that. Don't go posting on Facebook and this, that, trying to, you know, get approval from people. Don't do that. Do it with people that you trust, that are going to hold you accountable and aren't going to try to talk you out of something or envy you or tell you it's a bad idea or whatever the case may be.
Right.
Do it with people
because they can't do it.
Exactly. Right.
I feel like they justify it. Yeah.
Exactly. And another task is, like I said before, setting basically clear expectations with your children and letting them know that they're capable of doing whatever they put their mind to. you know, like reinforce that in them and let them guide you, right? I'm a new parent. I'm still learning this game, right? I got a 3-year-old and a 7-month-old. But something that I'm learning and that I feel like growing up, I didn't see a lot of parents do is let them tell you what they like. Don't try to force them in directions. Let them
Right.
show you and expose them to different things. And they will let them kind of guide you, kind of, so to speak.
To
And
what
then
they
you just,
gravitate to.
right? And you give them that positive reinforcement and set that expectation, right? Like, if you're going to do this, you're going to do this. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, we're going to actually attempt this and we're not just going to be all over the place. Like, so set clear expectations with your kid and let that creativity blossom. Which I said before in the previous episode, a small-minded person is the death of creativity. You know what I mean? Don't let small-minded people get in the way of your children's success or your success for that matter. But let your kids be creative and push that. When it comes to finances, which is it's really simple. Create a budget and stick to it. Create a budget and stick to it. As simple as that sounds, so many people can't do that. You know what I mean? Like, something that I do is I got an Excel. I'm real big on Excel spreadsheets. I got Excel spreadsheets for every damn thing. But create an Excel spreadsheet and, you know, write down all your, you know what I mean, put your bills in there and you know, as you spend money and really account for every dollar, man. You need to account for every dollar if you're going to do this efficiently and effectively. The same way Said got his planner and he account for every hour of his day. You got to account for every dollar. You got to know where that money's going. If you don't know where that money's going, it's going to be very hard to get it to work for you. You know what I mean? It's going to be extremely hard to get it to work for you if you don't know where it's going.
What's going, what's coming out, what's going in, all
And
that.
it probably will surprise you if you actually keep track of your funds, where a lot of it is going. It probably will surprise you if you actually sit back and look like, damn, I spent a decent amount of money on fast food, or like, I didn't even realize I go to, you know, Chick-fil-A this often.
too much.
You know what I mean?
Dang
Like,
it, man.
It probably will surprise you once you actually really pay attention. And what I should have, you know what I will do? I'm gonna add these. They're not in the resources right now, but I'm gonna add them to the resources. There's tons of different programs and apps. I think Simplify is one. I think it's on the tip of my tongue. Another one that I use. I can't think of the name of it, but I'm going to add it to the resources. But there's so many things out there that can help you with managing your budget and simplifies it for you. You can connect it up to your bank account, set your budgets. You can set up different categories and all those different things, and it'll help you a lot with your finances. And finally, well, not finally, but another tangible thing you can do in relation to your finances is research index funds. Okay, and we're gonna have a When Money Matters conversation around investing, but for this segment, I'm just gonna say research index funds. If you're looking to invest in the stock market, you don't want to necessarily buy individual stocks to start out, because I know y'all all heard the term, don't put all your eggs in one basket. And if you're buying one share, like Amazon, for instance, and I'm gonna just throw a number, one share of Amazon is over $1,000, right? So unless you about to invest $50,000, you're not about to get that many shares. I think a share of Apple right now is, they did a stock split and it was like I think it's $100 and some right now. Unless you invest in a ton of money, you're not gonna be able to buy a lot of shares. Like, if you index funds, what it is it's a collection of stocks and you buy that, so all your eggs isn't in one basket. So if one stock is doing really well, another stock isn't doing so well, it kind of balances out and you can still grow your portfolio. Once you get to a certain level, then you can invest in individual stocks. And I'm not going to say don't use Robinhood and buy individual stocks, but I would highly recommend index funds to start out. That's a very good way to start out. Now, the final bullet point, career. What can you do? What's something tangible you can do to invest in higher expectations for your career? Well, start with creating a list of things you enjoy. What are things you like to do, right? Like maybe you're really into fitness. Maybe you're really into animals. I don't know. Maybe you're really into decorating or marketing or you're a barber, whatever it is you really enjoy doing, and then ask yourself, like, okay, is there a career opportunity for me in this field? And if not, what is the opportunity? If you're about it, what is the opportunity for you to create your own business in that field, right? If you find a career that caters to your strengths and your passions and things that you love, then it doesn't feel like work, and it's just better for you, and you can excel and move along further. When you're working a job and you don't really care about it, you're gonna plateau eventually because you don't got that passion. You're not passionate about it. You're not gonna give it your all. You're kind of just there to collect a paycheck until another job comes along that pays you a little bit more money. Then you chuck the deuce and you're gonna go do that one. But if you actually find something that you actually passionate about and that you love, you're naturally gonna be good at it. So you're gonna grow faster and you're gonna make more money. So that's something you can do, or a tangible task that you can apply to investing higher expectations in your career. So really just in summary, man, expectations is important in all aspects of your life, which was the point of setting these 6 bullet points. And we'll kind of recap them: education, growth, health, relationships, finances, career. And I want to reiterate kind of where this came from for us, right? It's really about us growing up and what was presented to us as young men, right? As children coming up. And what were those expectations for us that was placed on us, right? And in our community and our families, those expectations aren't necessarily high. Go to high school, graduate from high school, you turn 18, move out, go get you find you somewhere to stay, whatever, so on and so forth. If you meet them expectations, then you just out here. It's like, okay, I graduated,
what's next?
I good deal. I did some 60% of them didn't do. And then if you don't graduate, whatever, you may feel like a failure, and you out here. You don't have any purpose. You're not trying to obtain anything. You don't have any goals. You're not working towards nothing. If we don't have the benefit of generational wealth and money being handed down, and dad is the CEO, mom ran the company, or whatever the case. So have that right out the womb, and that expectation set on us. We don't have that. So it's important for us to reevaluate our lives and our families and ourselves and set higher expectations. That's how we make a change. Hold yourself accountable. Hold your friends accountable. Hold your family accountable. That's how we get better. That's how we grow. That's how we become better people, individuals, strengthen our families, live longer. You know what I mean? That's how we do those things. So that's really how I kind of wanted to wrap this up. I'm going to get a floor to you, Sid.
No, I agree with everything you just said, 100%. It's really about changing the narrative, changing the mindset, because that's one of the first things. You really have to change the way that you think about how you approach expectations, and also and what you're specifically capable of. And I feel like you don't know what you're capable of until you're challenged and you're faced with adversity. And when you start to go through those things, just like I was saying earlier, like when I was coming up, I feel like I wasn't challenged enough. Like my mom did a significant job making certain that we didn't see certain things coming up, and I applaud her for that. But there were certain elements that I felt that as I got older, I'm like, man, I wish I could have maybe experienced something that really just made me have to work a little bit harder, look at life a little bit differently, or challenge me to really do certain things that would allow me to think more critically, because I feel like we're all a reflection of our upbringing and our experience.
100%.
But in a lot of people's upbringing and experiences are different. Even though you and I relate on so many different things, our upbringing was different.
Exactly.
You were challenged in certain areas that I didn't have to experience. And as a result of that, you may look at certain things differently. your perspective may be a little bit differently, you know. And so when you go through your path of life, when you're approached with something, the way that you think about it can be different than the way I think about it, right?
I want to piggyback on that right quick, Seth, so I don't lose my train of thought.
Go for it.
Everybody ain't built the same, right? Everybody expectations are different. Everybody don't have the mental fortitude and the ability, the wits, the education, the strength to pull through difficult times. And I think what can help that and what can be a equalizer is expectation.
Yeah.
Right? If you know, if you got two kids and one of them is a little better at doing something than the other one, but you set high expectations for both, you know what I mean, what they want to accomplish, one may exceed a little bit more than the other one, but the other one know that I need to keep up. You know what I mean? Versus if there's no expectations for either of them, but one of them just is a little stronger and may have higher expectations for itself, he may excel, and then the other one just, you know what I mean? Hey, I'm cool doing nothing. You know what I'm saying? Right. So that I feel like that setting them expectations can be an equalizer and set that example and help all and help the ones that may not see it for themselves by you know, you as a parent or you as a friend or you as a spouse kind of raising that level of expectation and kind of pulling them along with you. There's the saying, right? Pull yourself up by the bootstrap. Well, what if I ain't got no damn boots? You know what I'm saying? What if, you know what I mean? And that's where it comes to us helping each other. You know what I mean? Yeah. And like pulling each other up. Because like you said, all of our experiences are different. And in the same way I was challenged in some ways you might not have been, you was challenged in ways that I wasn't. And so on and so forth. But I just wanted to add that I think it could be an equalizer.
Right. And you're right. Like you said, man, it's just that the expectations. It's allowing yourself to really be put into the fire, so to speak. And when you do that and you have those experiences, you're able to share those experiences, you know, and that's all a part of being beneficial. It's taking what you experience and what you go through and using that as your story. You know, whatever I went through, whatever I had to experience, whatever I had to endure, I'm going to take that, I'm going to learn from it, and then I'm going to give it back through conversation, through things like this. We keep it thorough or whatever the case is. But it allows other people to see what you've gone through, what you experienced, what you were able to accomplish. And as a result of that, their expectations can be higher. It's like, oh, shoot, if you did it and you were able to get through it, hell, why can't I?
Exactly.
You know, and it motivates them, and then it just becomes reciprocal. And so, like I said, man, just setting expectations, changing the way that you think about it, changing your mindset, the way that you approach your day, the way that you go about your day, how you handle certain things, man, it makes such a significant difference. And we can't, you know, stress that enough. As we go into this year of 2022, Happy New Year to everybody, because this is the first segment that we've had since the new year has started. But as you go into the new year, set expectations. Even set the goal for even things that you think you might not be able to reach. You know, set a stretch goal, you know, and really just challenge yourself to get there. And understand, yeah, there's going to be some obstacles, some challenges you're going to have to endure, but the outcome of it and the learning experience that you're going to get as you go through it is going to be so useful, not only for you, but for somebody else as well, too. You have to think about that. Like, don't just approach certain things thinking about this is just for me. Like, what I go through is just my experience and it's for me. No, it's for you, but it's also for you to share that with somebody else that's in your circle who may be experiencing the same thing, or they may know somebody that's experiencing something similar to you, and now you can just give out that information. So, man, it's really just continuing to set the right standard, you know, have some principles, have some rules of engagement, and keep those expectations high, and that's going to continue to allow us to move forward.
Hey, man, and we appreciate y'all. Again, Keep It Thorough Thursday. This is our 4th episode. We've been at it for a month so far. A lot more to come. And, you know, we super excited. So we appreciate y'all rocking. Again, click the link in the bio. Every week we have our kit there. And so our setting expectation kit is there. It kind of recaps a lot of the stuff that we just talked about. And then there's some resources in there. some books to read, and typically any books you see in there said and read every single one of them. So
That's
go
facts.
check out them
Catch up.
books. I need to catch up 100%. But and then there's just some links in there for education as far as you know, professional, you know, if you're trying to, you know, learn, you know, in a particular skill or something, there's some links in there to Udemy and a couple other things. And I'm gonna add those financial apps. I'm gonna add those in there. Not in there right now, but I'll get them added. But hey, but we appreciate y'all, man. We'll holler at y'all next time. And if you don't do nothing else, keep it thorough,
Keep it
baby.
thorough.
We'll holler
Yes,
at y'all.
sir.
Deuces.
Peace out, man.